Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Raw. Your host, Drew, here with you, and this program is brought to you by THQ. I apologize for the noise in the background, but anyways, this match is hands down. I'm just going to say that it's only the second match, and already this is a big match to begin with. And right now we have the man they call Mr. Rogers. And yes, he is going to defend the World Wrestling Federation Championship. But it is, however, going to be defended under the most unusual of circumstances. And you're going to see a little bit what I mean by that. But for now, Mr. Rogers is going to be defending the World Wrestling Federation Championship. And I'm just going to say that Mr. Rogers is one of the greatest champions of all time. He was not only a champion in the ring, but he was a champion when I was growing up. And as my son grows up, he is, for the better part of three decades, he's made a big difference in my life, and he's making a big difference in my son's life, my son being to Jew 22, but needless to say, Mr. Rogers is a champion. Anyway, his opponent and the challenger from Blackpool, England. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you for correcting me. From Manchester, England, sorry. Weighing in at a solid 280 pounds. And that's muscle, folks. And is that the cat? Yeah, I have a pet cat. He's my little buddy, but right now Daddy's gotta record, honey. So yeah, I had to tell my cat to go to the other room because Daddy's recording right now. As for my, I'll tell you more about him in a moment, but right now, anyway, here comes Mankind. And yes, Mankind is also another challenger. Now, if you're wondering what this match is, well, there's still more to come. But also, Mankind was selected to be in this matchup. And I will say that Mankind, he's recovering from a vicious beating that he took the last time we saw him. He was in a match in which he and his friends, Cactus Jack and Dude Love, were beaten. And finally, last but definitely not least, Paul Wight. He weighs 500 pounds and is over 7 feet tall. Look at the size of this guy. He's a gargantuan, man. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of glad that I did retire because I do not want to fight that guy. Sure, Bowser was also big and strong as well. Probably just a little bit more than Big Show, but even so. Or I called him Big Show, that's his nickname. But yeah, Paul Wight is a gargantuan man. He's just huge. Look at the size of him, man. Anyways, as I was about to say, now this match is unusual as far as the circumstances behind it because we were looking for a match to put on the show, and it just so happened it was going to be a fatal four-way match, but and then as we selected the contestants, they came up with Mr. Rogers defending the title against the British Bulldog, but they also wanted to add 2 more people. Basically, this match involves 2 feuds at one time. You have the feud between Mr. Rogers and the British Bulldog, and then you have the rivalry between Paul Wight, who happens to be a part of the corporation. So basically, Mankind is out for revenge against the corporation, and it just so happens that Paul Wight is a part of the corporation. So, for Mr. Rogers, the chances of him holding on to the World Wrestling Federation Championship is fairly slim at 25%. Of course, it's a lot more slimmer, especially when you have Paul Wight in there. And a reverse DDT onto Mr. Rogers, and and Paul Wight gets clotheslined by the British Bulldog. Now, if there's anyone big and strong enough to take on the Big Show, it's the British Bulldog. A back elbow onto Mr. Rogers, and then a DDT onto Mr. Rogers, and a huge suplex onto the British Bulldog. Let me get closer to the TV here. And the British Bulldog just gonna club away, and another reverse DDT onto Mr. Rogers. And now what's Mankind gonna do? Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention one other thing. This match is no disqualifications, no countouts, and falls count anywhere. And it is also elimination style, so the last man standing, after all others have been eliminated by pinfall or submission, will be declared the winner and the World Wrestling Federation champion. And it looks as if Paul Wight is going to go after the British Bulldog, as Mankind is going to go after Mr. Rogers. So the two rivalries that were supposed to happen, well, they've intersected with each other. So I would have expected. Wait a minute, no. I would have expected Mankind to fight I would have expected Mankind to fight Paul Wight, and I would have expected the British Bulldog to fight Mr. Rogers, but it doesn't always have to be like that. I mean, you can attack anybody you want, and wow, what a big back body drop onto the Big Show. Now, I'm not sure what, wait a minute. Kick out by Mr. Rogers. If Mr. Rogers gets beaten at any time, whether he's the first man eliminated or the last man eliminated, his reign as the World Wrestling Federation champion is over. 1, 2, kick out by the... I keep calling him the Big Show because, well, that's his nickname, but it's Paul Wight. That's his real name. And a facebuster onto Mankind, as Paul Wight is going to take down the table. And I'm not sure what the British Bulldog is trying to get. Well, whatever he was going to get. And Mankind gets drop-kicked out of the ring. And wait a minute, Paul Wight is in deep trouble, as the British Bulldog has a half Boston Crab onto Paul Wight. If Paul Wight taps out, then his feud with his collective feud with Mankind will, it won't count against the corporation's record, since Mankind did not pin or force the Big Show to submit. The Big Show, Paul Wight, and a chair shot right to the head of Mankind. Well, okay, I can see what the British Bulldog is trying to do. And a chair shot right to the head of the British Bulldog. Meanwhile, Mr. Rogers is going to go right after Mankind. Oh, I see what they're doing. They're trying to get rid of Mankind. Well, first, the British Bulldog eliminated Paul Wight. Now it looks as if the British Bulldog and Mr. Rogers are going to try to get rid of Mankind so that they can have each other to themselves. Wait a minute. No, wait. Countered into a reverse DDT onto the British Bulldog. An elbow smash onto Mankind. Thrown over the top rope is Mankind. Oh, and Mankind reversed with a hot shot. Now, what's the British Bulldog going to get here? And Mr. Rogers gets thrown over the top rope. And, well, I mean, he brought in the chair to use it on somebody, but he had to drop it because the remaining competitors were on the outside, and now everybody's on the outside. I'm not sure what Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, was looking for, but he decides to pose for some odd reason. Yeah, it looks like Mankind is going to be their target. And, what the hell is Mankind doing? Well, whatever he was doing, Mr. Rogers stopped that. And, wait a minute, the British Bulldog has a ladder. I don't have a good feeling about what he's going to do with it, but what's Mankind doing? On a spear right through the barricade onto Mr. Rogers. Sorry. Forgive me, it's been a while since I've commentated. We had a small break in between, so I'm a little rusty, but in due time I'll get back to I'll get back into the groove. But right now, Mankind with that ladder, what's he gonna do with it? Oh, he's trying to size him up right now. Oh, and he hits him in the head with the with the ladder. I apologize if I'm stumbling so bad. And what the hell is the British Bulldog doing? Like, why is he over there? Well, now Mr. Rogers takes the ladder away. And now British Bulldog has those steps, and now he's bringing them in the ring. And now all three men, well, for the time being, alright, now, all three men are in the ring right now. A hammerlock onto Mankind. And then a clothesline onto Mankind. So yeah, they want to get rid of Mankind so that they can settle their feud between themselves. And I mean Mr. Rogers and the British Bulldog. So that they can settle their feud between the two of them without interference from Mankind. And Mankind getting out of the ring, and he's setting up a ladder for some odd reason. I mean, then again, it shouldn't surprise me one bit, being that Mankind is a bit loopy for his own good. I mean, of course, all three men have taken tremendous punishment, but the big surprise was Paul Wight getting eliminated. I mean, of course I know the British Bulldog has been on a roll lately. Oh, and he rams him with those steps. By him, I mean Mankind, and now the British Bulldog is using those steps on Mankind. I mean, how Mankind is still up even after those shots with those steel steps, I'm not sure how he's able to survive, let alone continue to fight. I mean, a normal man would have stayed down much longer than that. And now, wait, what's Mankind doing? Double arm DDT onto Mr. Rogers. And now he's going to pin him. 1, 2, no, kick out. Oh, that was so close. That was as close as you're going to get to getting a new champion. I mean, that was so close to the end of Mr. Rogers' reign as the World Wrestling Federation champion. A reverse DDT on the floor onto Mr. Rogers, and another pinfall. 1, 2, 3, and it's over for Mr. Rogers. I guess the beatings that Mr. Rogers took in this match finally caught up to him, and now, well, unfortunately for Mr. Rogers, or rather for the British Bulldog, his feud with Mr. Rogers will continue to go unresolved. As the same could be said for Mankind, since the British Bulldog eliminated Paul Wight, of the corporation. So yeah, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Power slam! Power slam onto Mankind. 1, 2, 3, and it's over! It's all over! The winner and new World Wrestling Federation champion, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. I'll tell you one thing, for Davey Boy Smith, it has been close to 15 years since he entered the business, and for the first time in as many years, the British Bulldog has finally won the one championship that has eluded him for the entirety of his career until now. The British Bulldog is now the World Wrestling Federation champion, but his issues with Mr. Rogers have gone unresolved. Same could be said for Mankind, but until then, stay tuned for the next match. But we have a new champion.